The Tower of Babylon shows no mercy. The Black Dragon Guild, supposedly the best in the world, just embarrassed themselves on the 40th floor. They crawled back empty-handed, their pride in tatters. But there's always that one guy who's built different. Enter the Flame Emperor, the world's #1 ranker. He soloed the boss while everyone else was just part of the scenery. Just look at him. The guy's got so much ego he barely fits on the screen. He's so full of himself, he even complains about his own title. He says Flame Emperor sounds like garbage and tells people to call him the Plague instead. What a humble guy. Meanwhile, in a studio apartment that's literally falling apart, we find our protagonist. He's broke, pathetic, and has way too much free time to spend hating on the people at the top. There he is, staring at the monitor with a sense of envy that's practically eating him alive. That guy has everything he's ever dreamed of. Money, fame, and the luxury of being a total prick on camera just because he's the strongest. He starts spamming the forums like a lunatic, screaming into the void about how much he wants to be just like the Emperor. He types it over and over, the classic resentful loser living through a screen because his own reality is a dumpster fire. But the Emperor really is in a league of his own. He was a late bloomer, awakening at 20, and in a single month he cleared content that took the major guilds a decade to touch. He's a living legend, making everyone else look like nothing more than background extras. His philosophy is a masterclass in arrogance. Basically, if you're strong, you do whatever you want, and everyone else can go jump off a bridge. He signs off like he's doing the world a favor. To him, we're all just garbage cluttering up his field of vision. On the complete opposite end of the success spectrum, our protagonist watches from a hovel buried in ramen cups. He's an F rank, the kind of extra born to die in the first 5 minutes of the story. He's sitting there, sobbing his eyes out and envying every single inch of that man's glory, until suddenly, the room erupts in a blinding light. It's a skill card, the kind of thing he's only ever seen on YouTube while dreaming of a way out of this hole. And get this, the system is a total sadist. It's granting him this power because it's impressed by how ugly, twisted, and disgusting his envy is. The system decided his pure hatred is top-tier fuel. As a reward for being a world-class loser, it's giving him a one-way ticket to the top. The waterworks stop instantly when he sees the card as gold, rank S+. It's the kind of win the lottery skill that changes everything. The skill is called, I want to be just like you, a name that reeks of an inferiority complex, and the effect is insane. He can copy the power of anyone who kills him. But of course, there's a beautiful catch in the fine print. For the card to actually work, he has to die first. He basically just hit the jackpot. But the payout window is located 6 feet under. The tower appeared out of nowhere, without so much as a warning. It looms over every corner of the planet, a constant, jagged reminder that things are about to get ugly. The first ones to venture inside were the desperate people with nothing left to lose, looking for a way out of the gutter. Inside, they found a literal zoo of nightmares, but the survivors came back out clutching skill cards that granted them superhuman powers. It didn't take long for the rest of the world to join the hunt, chasing monsters for a shot at fame and fortune. That's how the legend of the Flame Emperor was born, a man who incinerates anything that moves with his fire spear. The media worships him as a god of destruction, but to the guy sitting in this dive bar, it's just background noise to kill time while business stays dead. Meet our protagonist, face flat on the table, spirit crushed into the floorboards. He feels like a total loser watching these heroes on TV, but he's harboring a secret that's driving him crazy. He actually pulled an S+ rank skill, the kind that makes legends, except for one tiny catch: he has to die for it to work. A total waste of a gift from the system. He didn't even dare report it to the association. He was too embarrassed to admit his great talent is becoming a corpse. The shop owner finally gets fed up with his moping and kicks him out. He stomps down the street, fuming, while the hunter rankings mock him from every screen with the Flame Emperor sitting comfortably at #1. Suddenly, a scream echoes from a nearby alley. He peeks in, expecting to see his idol in action, but the world's #1 hero isn't rescuing anyone. He's got a white-haired girl pinned against the wall, and the vibe is anything but heroic. Turns out humanity's great savior is a total scumbag. The girl had tried to use a hidden poison on him, but he caught her and smashed the vial right in her face, just to show her how trapped she really is. She swears it's all a misunderstanding. But the Emperor has a built-in lie detector. He grips her throat, demanding a confession. In the blink of an eye, the protagonist's admiration curdles into pure horror. The guy shows zero mercy and executes her right then and there. Just like that, she's gone. Watching from the shadows, our guy feels like his heart is going to burst. He just realized the world's greatest hero is actually a psychopath with a good PR team. He tries to slip away, but he's got the grace of a falling anvil. He trips and shatters a glass bottle at the worst possible moment. The noise gives him away instantly. The Emperor spins around with a smile that's barely human. To him, this is just another rat that needs exterminating. The kid bolts in a blind panic, but terror turns his legs to lead. He trips over his own feet, loses a shoe, and ends up crawling through the dirt as fear blurs his vision. The Emperor stalks toward him, oozing arrogance, his fire spear leveled for the finishing blow. He couldn't care less about the begging or the tears, deciding the boy is a loose end that needs tying. The Emperor hoists him up by the neck like a wet rag, demanding to know who sent him. He brags about his lie detection skill, and the protagonist goes paler than a sheet of paper. In a moment of desperation, he calls the psycho out for murdering the girl, and that's when the fuse finally blows. The Emperor acts offended, as if his conscience were clean. and slams him into the pavement. "What kind of person do you take me for?" he screams, while the kid writhes in agony. Trying anything to survive, he confesses that the girl, the saint, really was trying to poison him. The Emperor's mood flips in a heartbeat. He lets out a loud laugh and even pats the kid's head like he's a loyal pet. The boy sobs out his thanks, convinced he just dodged a bullet, but that heroic smile vanishes in an instant. "Since you saw everything, you still have to die." He fries the kid's brain with one hand, making sure to introduce himself as Yu Suha, so he knows exactly who killed him. In his final seconds, as he turns to ash, he remembers being a kid and being told his name. Gongja meant he was destined for greatness. The "You have died" notification flashes. The system activates. The conditions for his secret skill have finally been met. The process to copy his killer's power begins, and a golden card shimmers among the remains. "Just give me one more chance," he pleads, reaching for the card with his very last breath. A white flash erases everything, and suddenly he bolts upright in bed. He's in his room, surrounded by trash and empty bottles. The news is playing on the TV. The Black Dragon Guild is preparing to raid the 40th floor, confident in their overwhelming strength. He's confused, but he's alive. He's in one piece, and it looks like the clock just got turned back a long, long way. Gongja wakes up in his bed, head spinning. Wait, wasn't he just burned to a crisp a second ago? Look at that face, pure terror. Can you blame him? He was literal ash just a moment ago. He grabs his phone to check if the world is still spinning, and that's when it hits him. Everything he's seeing happened yesterday. He hasn't lost his mind. He's just back home. He's alive and well despite that fire-wielding psycho erasing him from existence. To make sure he isn't dreaming, Gongja pulls up his skill card, and there it is, the jackpot. Turns out that useless skill, the one that copies the person who kills him, wasn't such a dud after all. He managed to swipe the final boss's crown jewel, the Clock of Fortune, an X-rank skill. Basically, every time he dies, time winds back 24 hours, and he gets to keep all his memories. He's effectively immortal now, but there's a catch. To activate his life insurance, he has to die first. It's a hell of a deal, assuming you don't mind taking a trip to the morgue every time you want to use it. Gongja tries to process it all, replaying exactly how he ended up in this mess. The Flame Emperor is a total piece of work. He murdered the Saintess for no reason and offed Gongja just for being a witness. And the worst part? He's playing the hero on TV. Just look at him on the screen, giving interviews with that smug, arrogant face, threatening to crush anyone who gets in his way. But Gongja knows the truth now, and his finger is hovering right over the reset button. Suddenly, a scream snaps him out of it. The fire has already started. Gongja looks out the window, flames are already licking the nearby buildings. It's the same disaster the Emperor cooked up yesterday to burn the evidence of his crimes. The guy is terrifyingly efficient for a psychopath. Gongja bolts out of his room as the neighborhood descends into a panicked frenzy. Water-type users are desperately trying to douse the flames, but they're outmatched. Without some coordination, they're all going to burn. In the middle of the chaos, the heavy hitters arrive to restore order. The Black Witch, leader of the Black Dragon Guild, takes charge with terrifying authority. The Alchemist arrives too, a rank 5 healer who looks like she hasn't slept in a week, but she's ready for the rescue op. The Paladin and the Alchemist try to contain the disaster, grateful the area is mostly deserted, because right now the city is a giant furnace. Everyone is scrambling for extinguishers, trying to beat back the inferno. Gongja looks for the Saintess, only to find out she's already gone off with the Flame Emperor. The Alchemist can already sense the tragedy brewing. That guy has always given her a bad vibe, and speak of the devil, here comes the world's biggest ego. Suha strolls in, scratching the back of his neck with annoying calm, asking who dared to play with fire without his permission. The Paladin greets him like a god descending from heaven, begging him to put out the fire, but the guy just asks what's in it for him, completely ignoring the fact that he's the one who lit the match. To be honest, everyone knows he's trash, but they've still got their phones out, filming him like he's a rock star. The guy gives a half-hearted wave and turns to leave, making it clear he doesn't do charity work. But Gongja isn't buying the act. He knows that behind that hero facade hides a cold-blooded killer, and he's the only one who knows his true face. He has to kill him, no matter the cost. Without a second thought, the kid lunges straight for him. People try to hold him back, thinking he's suicidal, but he's tuned them all out. Gongja realizes that to hunt a monster, you have to be willing to throw everything away. He dives into the fray and is immediately swallowed by the Emperor's flames. As the fire consumes him, he's certain of one thing. To catch a rat like Suha, he has to die the most agonizing death possible today. Gongja dies, and the system confirms what we already know. But since he now owns the most broken skill in the tower, the clock winds back a full day, and he wakes up in his room again, surrounded by trash and empty bottles. He has an infinite reset button, and the best part, it's totally free. The problem is, facing the Flame Emperor now is suicide. The guy is a monster. Even if Gongja somehow won, the Emperor would just rewind and kill him before he could blink. The only real option is to end his career before it even starts. Gongja racks his brain and remembers an interview where the guy bragged about awakening his powers 11 years ago, on his birthday. The math is a nightmare. That's 450 days. To get back to that moment, he has to die 450 times. Any sane person would look for another way, but Gongja has officially snapped. He grabs the knife with the green taped handle and plunges it into his chest. like it's just another chore. He wakes up screaming, checks the calendar, and does it again. 49 to go. And so begins the most masochistic loop in history. Die, return, stab, repeat. The kid has become a one-man corpse factory, proving that with enough willpower, your own death stops being a tragedy and starts being a mode of transportation. Years pass in his mind as the counter ticks down. 2,000 days, 500 days. He's ready to shatter his sanity just to erase that bastard from existence. Finally, after thousands of stabs and unbearable pain, he reaches his destination. Day 1. The real game starts now. He's finally done it. The clock shows the exact moment he's been aiming for. Kim Gongja lies on the floor, absolutely spent, but his grip on the knife hasn't loosened. He scans the newspapers plastered on the wall to confirm his arrival. He's back 11 years in the past, just before the future Flame Emperor awakens his powers. It took 30 more deaths than he planned, but he made it. He pulls himself up, throws on his hood, and heads out to hunt his prey. May 6th, 11 years ago. Right now, the future Emperor is just a bum with a massive hangover, rotting away in a rundown apartment. There he is, waking up in a daze while Gongja watches his every move from the window. Gongja isn't winging this. He's repeated this day enough times to memorize the guy's entire routine, from the second he rolls out of bed to his arrival at the low-rank hunting grounds. By 3 p.m., the future Emperor is on the tower's second floor, hunting slimes. He's just a pathetic F-rank hunter, cursing his luck while stabbing at blobs of jelly, dreaming of hitting the jackpot or lucking into an S-rank skill so he never has to work a day in his life. The kid was praying for a miracle, and fate sent him Gongja to end his story early. Without a single word, our protagonist strikes from the shadows, finishing the job with brutal efficiency. This guy's future just went from world-class legend to forest fertilizer. Gongja stands there drenched in blood, processing the fact that he just erased a global threat, but the clock is ticking and he still has unfinished business. According to his memories, his next stop is the 6th floor, an area notorious for being a death trap for rookies. Following his plan to the letter, he reaches the woods with 30 minutes to spare before his next target arrives. Right on cue, a hunter with his hair tied back shows up, looking more like a male model than a warrior. He's busy showing off his spear until he hears footsteps. Gongja stumbles out looking like a wreck, covered in blood and pretending to be on death's door. He begs for a potion, spinning a lie about being jumped by wolves. The spearman couldn't care less about a human life. He's just annoyed this loser is ruining his afternoon. Sensing desperation, the spearman decides it's the perfect time to pull a scam. Gongja offers him the 20 coins a potion usually costs, but the guy starts hiking up the price like a shark. It goes from 20 to 40. And finally, he demands every single cent Gongja has. Since Gongja is acting like he can't even move, the guy leans in and just snatches his wallet. The spearman counts the cash and scoffs when he only finds 60 coins. The nerve of this guy complaining that the person he's robbing isn't rich enough. He's the textbook definition of a narcissist. He pats Gongja's head with insufferable arrogance, promising to put the money to good use. But since he's a coward as well as a thief, decides it's better not to leave any witnesses. He charges his spear with purple energy and asks why he won't just hurry up and die. But the act is over. In the blink of an eye, the dying boy lands a counter hit that leaves him speechless. The hunter came looking for a quick buck and realized too late he'd picked the wrong target. Gongja doesn't hesitate for a second. With eyes burning with cold fury, he lunges forward to finish what the other man started. One clean slash, and it's over. The opportunist's career ends before he even realizes he's been hit. Gongja stands over the body, finally catching his breath. He spent over 4,000 days nursing his hatred just to reach this moment. He remembers Suha and how this bastard played the noble knight while being the absolute scum of the tower, a man who paraded around as a hero after murdering so many innocents. But that's over now. He sent him to the afterlife without his hand even shaking, and he doesn't feel a shred of guilt. Suddenly, the forest is full of hungry eyes. A pack of red wolves appears, but Gongja doesn't flinch. He leaves them the body as a parting gift. While the beasts scrub the evidence clean, he heads to his stash to change into something fresh. The dark tracksuit looks 1,000 times better on him than that victim disguise he was wearing. The system announces the task is complete and warps him back to the first floor. In a flash, Gongja finds himself in an elegant hallway, but as he steps outside, the harsh reality of the tower hits him all over again. He passes a guard in heavy armor who's busy yawning. The guy has no clue that the person who just rewrote history in a single afternoon walked right past him. It's all done, and nobody has the slightest idea what happened up there. Meanwhile, the raid on the 10th floor has ended in a total massacre. There isn't a single survivor, and the press is desperate to find someone to blame for the defeat. But while the world is reeling, Gongja is at a bar celebrating. He's erased the future's worst psychopath, and for the first time, he's the one in control. The system still lists him as F rank, but he couldn't care less as long as he can admire his two new skills, an S rank and an EX rank. He can't use them for combat yet, but they make him feel like a king. He can already see himself selling secrets about the upper floors and living off the profits for the rest of his life. He's convinced he's already won. Just then, an old man in an impeccable suit and flashy red sneakers walks in. The man sits down and orders a vodka with warm milk and honey. Gongja snaps at him that he isn't the waiter, completely failing to notice that the entire bar has gone dead silent. The kid looks at the TV, then back at the old man, and the realization hits him like a freight train. The old guy drinking milk is the Sword Saint, the rank 1 hunter. Everyone is currently tearing apart on the news. Humanity's strongest warrior just walked into the grimiest dive bar in the city. What a wild ending. Turns out the old man is the biggest savage in the tower. If the Sword Saint can mix vodka and warm milk without breaking a sweat, then you guys can definitely smash that like and subscribe button so the system finally lets us level up. Let me know in the comments which manhwa you want me to cover next. See you in the next one.